Our fastest growing concept is called Bourbon Steak.
Oh,
we
nice.
have them throughout the country in a lot of high-end hotels. And we're looking to make an exceptional steakhouse experience with a world-class wine list that has all of the big names that people would expect, but also has things that are surprising. So if someone reaches out to me and says, I have a really exciting producer of Napa Valley Cabernet, it's only their third vintage, we'd love to get the wines in front of you, I'm interested.
Hey guys, this is Sid Patel here, CEO of Beverage Trade Network and Sommeliers Choice Awards. We are live from Chicago here, the 6th edition of Sommeliers Choice Awards, and I have Jeremy Shanker, Master Sommelier here, and responsible for a lot of wine buying, right? So we're going to talk about how can you pitch your wine to fine wine restaurant chains. We'll deep dive into that question and let's understand the process. And Jeremy, thanks for joining me here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's start with defining your role, right? Like, what are your KPIs? What are your responsibilities?
In my role, I oversee 30 restaurants across the country, from New York to Hawaii to many locations in California, Las Vegas. A big part of my job is hiring and developing the talent that we have and mentoring our incredible team of sommeliers. We have about 20 to 25 sommeliers in the group. And many of the properties I directly purchase for. Some of the properties I go through a partner. For instance, we have partnerships with certain hotel groups like MGM Hotels, where we have several restaurants.
Understood. They are also involved in the buying decision, and then you have to list on what they have also made you listed, right?
So I the restaurants that we don't own directly, where we have partnerships, a big part of my job is working very closely with their wine director. So in the case of MGM, I work very closely with MGM wine director. Same would go for, we have a restaurant within Paradise, which is in a SFO airport. So we work very closely with them to find common ground.
So Larissa, maybe?
Yeah. And we find things that work for their program as well as fits our brand.
Got it. So let's start with, it's very hard to find buyers like you out and get their emails and get their phone numbers, because obviously, for obvious reasons, otherwise you'll get bombarded like anything.
Yeah.
But what do you suggest is an effective way to cold call you or approach you?
I think, like anything else, selling any other product, you really have to know who you're selling to and what their needs are. So that takes understanding our restaurants and who our guests are. And if you're pitching products that are below the average price point of what we would buy, that's something that I'm probably not going to respond to as quickly as if you're recommending categories that we sell through very quickly, that and recommending wines that fit that category and stuff.
So a good research on your accounts, on how you work, and then in sort of an email or an approach summarizing that, hey, based on my research observations, we think that we can add value, and this is what we know about your business.
Exactly, and I think, taking that extra second to look up what we do, and I'll give an example. We have several concepts within our group. Our fastest growing concept is called Bourbon Steak.
Oh,
we
nice.
have them throughout the country in a lot of high-end, some freestanding, but also high-end hotels. And we're looking to make an exceptional steakhouse experience with a world-class wine list that has all of the big names that people would expect, but also has things that are surprising. So if someone reaches out to me and says, I have a really exciting producer of Napa Valley Cabernet, it's only their third vintage, we'd love to get the wines in front of you, I'm interested, because we sell that category very well in our restaurants, and I want to have things that are new that I might not know about. So I'm gonna be very likely to respond to that type of inquiry compared to someone who doesn't take the time to look at what concepts their brands would fit within our profile.
What do you reply to them? Let's say that particular, say, okay, send me more information, and then what does the next step look like in your buying journey?
Well, so if they're asking me to purchase for just one location, that's a very easy transaction. I could meet with my lead sommelier, and we'll basically say yes or no. We also have national programming, which we do a selection period once a year. It's called an RFP process, where we'll open it up to every single supplier that wishes to work with us. They're free to present their portfolio, to send samples, and to make a case for why they would be a good partner for us. And we do have a core BTG program and certain bottle list selections that you're going to find at every single bourbon steak, or every single flagship restaurant. Like Michael Mina, we have certain BTGs at Michael Mina Bellagio that we would also have at our flagship restaurant in Charleston called Sorella. So there is an annual RFP that our national suppliers will reach out to sell to the group across the entire country.
Understood. Yeah. And that RFP process happens once a year?
Once a year.
Okay, and then on dissecting on the RFP now a little bit, so it's a process basically, right? A black and white system which qualifies some suppliers, and let's say you get to the next phase where, all right, evaluate now the samples. So I'm just throwing some numbers here. So let's say 200 applications came, and now it's 50 samples that who would audit the applications, and then what is the next for that?
Well, they send kind of a letter of intent and an offer to send samples, and we go through that. We do redline some suppliers that right off the bat we know probably. We don't want to waste anyone's time. So if we know that it's not going to be a fit, then we say that they can present, but we don't request a significant amount of samples. But if it's someone that we're interested in working with and growing the partnership, we'll absolutely reach out for the samples that we haven't tasted, and I'll taste them with my counterparts. And then they present to us, in addition to the wines that they carry, what they can do for us as a partner, particularly from the education standpoint, supporting with staff training. When we have team members who go out, will fly out to Napa and taste at wineries, and our best partners will. And also we have partnerships with several properties in California and Napa Valley, and when we get one of our big wine VIPs who wants to travel to Napa Valley, it's very easy for me to set up an incredible experience for them based on the quantity of wine that we buy nationally from certain suppliers.
Understood. Any other thing that you think is a good 3 or 4 approaches or ways or characteristics on how to approach a buyer like you?
I think everyone has different needs, so really listening to what someone like me would want versus making assumptions about what we should have in our business. And there are brands that people might think, oh, well, of course you should carry this, that's a no-brainer. But really there's no one brand that I personally feel like I need to carry. It's a choice to work with a supplier, and every partnership that we have is a choice, and it's a relationship that's built over time that we have to grow that, and that a lot of suppliers will lose brands over time. So the way that I look at it is more growing a relationship with the best suppliers and vendors out there, so that we can get opportunities for pricing in some states where it's legal to get better pricing on certain products. So that's more important to me than getting.
So like a programming,
access.
support, partnership, those elements are very important.
The willingness to invest time and resources into education, the willingness to invest time and resources into helping us pull off these super special wine dinners that we do at our restaurants. I look for that more than someone who says, oh, well, I could give you X wine.
Understood.
Yeah.